I'm Alex with Kodiak Woodcraft. In today's video, we're going to be painting the stairwell white. If you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that most of my videos are based in the woodshop, but once in a while I'll tackle a home project like this one. I'll give you some context about what this stairwell looked like before painting. I actually feel a little bit bad about painting over this hardwood, but the truth is, the honey oak color isn't super stylish, and it doesn't really match anything else in my house. So I feel good about painting it white. You can think of this project in two parts, the first half being the preparation, and then the second half being the actual priming and painting. They take similar amounts of time. I will warn you, this isn't the most exciting or fun project when you're actually doing it, but by the time you get it complete, it really does make a difference. Alright, so that's enough of an intro, let's get to work. Okay, so when it comes to preparation, the most important thing that you can do is a little bit of sanding. And when I say a little bit of sanding, it's actually quite time intensive, but the point I'm trying to make is that you don't necessarily need to strive for perfection. You want to go over and scuff the existing finish with some sort of fine grit sandpaper, take a little bit off. You don't need to get all of it off, but you need to give the primer that you're going to use something to adhere to. So basically for me, I took a couple hours and went over all exposed surfaces with a sanding block. There's lots of nooks and crannies, so it's helpful to find at least one block that has that V shape on it so that you can get into them. When it comes to sanding, you'll find a few differing opinions. Some believe that you don't have to sand at all, and others will say that you have to sand off every single square inch of finish. I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I feel that I got about 90% of the way there, and it turned out great for me. There are probably diminishing returns when it comes to the sanding. Once you've got everything sanded, you'll want to go and wipe down the stairwell and all the surfaces with some sort of degreaser or something like that. I used TSP, and at the end of it made sure that the surfaces were clean and ready for painting. Once I had a clean surface, I went ahead and taped off all of the areas that I didn't want to paint. At this point, it was time to move to the second half of the project for the painting side. Now, I decided to do a preliminary coat of primer. Again, this is something that you'll find mixed opinions on, but after speaking with a few friends and family who have done this and not used the primer, I felt that it was a good thing to do. I used a short brush exclusively. I could have used a roller on some of the flat parts, but most of my railings and such are rounded off, so it felt like a good way to get a consistent finish. Now, I will say, like many projects, that first coat of primer looked a little bit sketchy as it was going on. It was a little bit blotchy, a little bit see-through, and I was wondering if I had made the right decision for painting the staircase. With that said, by the time that the entire coat of primer was on, I felt better and I knew that the paint would do a great job at covering it up. When it came time to paint, I stuck with the exact same process. I stuck with the short brush, I used it on everything, and I ultimately did 2 or 3 coats of white enamel-based paint over the primer. Now, the type of paint you use is really important because these railings are high-touch areas. You can't just use any old paint. The best advice that I can give is to use some sort of enamel-based paint, perhaps that you might use for trim. I used the same paint that I used for the trim in the rest of my house. So the good thing is, when I'm touching up paint anywhere, I'll be able to touch up the railing. Alright, that's the video. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one.